helping to educate your kids and send them off to college is one of the big financial goals that many families share. However, it's very complicated to do so. I've got 5 tips on how to save up for college. That and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I am the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. So college, if you were to ask me with all of my years of financial planning experience, what are the major financial goals that most people are trying to achieve? And you would say, get debt free, build up an emergency fund, retire has got to be the primary one. Buy a house, or again, get debt free and pay that mortgage off. But then you would say college for kids is right up there. And the reason why, it's in the top 5 probably, or one of the top few, but maybe lower on the scale is simply because so much is changing with the cost of college. We've seen the cost of college rise significantly over the past several decades, and yet now we've got this student loan debt crisis. And I think our country is trying to grapple with, well, how do we do this? What's the right way to do this? And so, but still, you could look at just about any study and see the benefits of going to college are significant. And likely, if you've got kids, you and your spouse should talk about whether this is a goal of yours. If you say, I don't want to help with everything 100%, but I want to help with some, or whatever it is. How do you do it? What are the best ways to save up for college? Again, whether you just want to help a little bit or help with all of it, what are the ways to do it? I've got 5 ideas. The very first thing that I would tell you to do, the best way to save up for college, is to start early. You knew I was going to say that, okay, but before you eye roll, here's the thing. When you're saving up for retirement, you're typically saving up for 4 decades, 3 to 4 decades, depending on when you start, okay? And then your retirement is going to last 2, maybe 3 decades if you're lucky, right? It's going to last a long time. With college, it's different. You're going to save up for at most 17 years, at most. And then you're going to spend all the money within 3 or 4 years. And so it's very, very different. And therefore, starting early, even if it's $25 a month, $50 a month, a little bit during a birthday, a little bit at Christmas, starting early can go a long way just because of the uniqueness of how short saving up for this goal is and how minuscule the goal actually lasts, okay? Which is different than buying a house, different than paying off your mortgage, different than retirement. College is unique in this way, so it's crucial to start early. The reason why I would tell you it's so important to start early is life comes at you fast when you're starting a family. And even when you're adding to that family, life comes at you fast. Now you've got diapers, you've got daycare, you've got, part-time work or someone staying home with the kids. You've got more expenses, and it's very easy to put saving up for college on the back burner and putting some of those other, maybe more urgent expenses on the forefront. So that makes it hard to catch up as well. Start early. You're never more motivated to save for that child's college than when they're first born. So get started early. The second recommendation I would have, or suggestion that I'd have when you're trying to save up for college, is I actually like using target date funds as I'm investing and saving up for college. I'll get into this in just a minute, but the reason why is most people are saving up for college inside of a tax-sheltered college type of account, and some of those have restrictions on how many times you can buy and sell or make changes with your investments. So a target date fund within the within the 529 plan or within your college savings plan helps you dial back and adjust the risk temperature automatically without having you buy or sell or make transactions that could complicate some of these rules. The other reason why I like target date funds is just for the exact same reason as I just shared, in that you've only got about 15 years, 17 years to save up for this thing. And very quickly you go from, yeah, we should be high risk to, okay, we should be dialing back the risk to, we should be taking very little risk. And then you're only going to spend the money over 3 or 4 years. So it's got to go from, we're taking a little risk to we're taking no risk at all. And a target date fund helps you manage that temperature, that risk, without you needing to get in and touch the dial yourself. Third is you got to make sure that you're using tax shelters. I just kind of let that one slip in the last tip there, but it seems so common when you're saving up for retirement to use your 401k, your Roth IRA, your IRA, and try and get some tax benefits, some tax shelters. It's not as common knowledge when you're saving up for college. Some of the biggest financial names out there, Dave Ramsey and others, actually suggest you save up for college without using tax shelters. I don't think that's intentional. He's not a financial advisor. Nothing against him, and I love his principles, but he's not a financial advisor. I would use a tax shelter when it comes to saving up for college. The best tax shelter, and now it has limitations, but the best tax shelter when saving up for college is the 529 plan. The money, it really operates just like a Roth IRA, but for college purposes. The money that you put in to that 529 plan is not tax deductible for you, okay? You don't get a benefit when you put the money in on your federal tax return, but the account grows tax deferred and tax free when you pull that money out. If you use it for qualifying educational expenses, which is room and board, it's tuition, it's all your books, it's your fees, that sort of stuff, anything required to a school that participates in the FAFSA program, then that growth comes out tax-free. It's similar to the Roth. And it's not use it or lose it. You can then roll it over to the next child, to grandkids, and so on. So making sure you're using tax shelters so that you don't have Uncle Sam reaching their hand into your pocket and pulling tax dollars out gives you more money to work for you and compound for you towards this meaningful financial goal. Connected to those tax benefits, oftentimes, there can be state tax benefits when you're saving up for college. That's right. A 529 plan is actually a state program. It's got federal tax sheltering, right? That growth is tax sheltered and comes out tax free. But each state has their own, if not two, 529 plans and tax programs related to it. Some states just say, yeah, we're going to let it grow tax free as well, and you can draw it out for college without paying tax on it. Yep, that's great. Pretty much every state has that. But many other states offer a state tax incentive if you are using that state's plan and live in that state or pay that state's taxes. Here in Indiana, where I live, offers a phenomenal tax benefit. You get a 20% state tax credit up to the first $5,000 you contribute to a 529 plan each year, to the Indiana 529 plan each year. That's incredible. That's a 20% rate of return just like that, without even considering the investment returns. Up in Michigan, just a few miles north of us, it's a deduction on the first $10,000 that you put in. So still pretty good, not as great. Make sure you're aware of your state's tax benefits and that you're using the right tax shelter and using the right 529 plan or the right tool to maximize those state benefits. And then the final tip when saving up for college, I see this so often, is you've got to manage your beneficiaries, okay? On those tax shelters, each of them will have one single student listed. The 529 plan is an easy one where there's an owner. That's one person that's in charge of the account. There's a successor owner, which means if this person passes away, now the successor owner is in charge. And then there's a beneficiary, but in the case of a 529 plan, the beneficiary means student, and you can only list one. Well, what should you do if, like me, you've got 3 kids or more than 1 kid? So you can only draw the money out tax-free if it's used for qualifying educational expenses for the beneficiary you've listed there. So make sure if you've got multiple kids or multiple grandkids that you're using it for, that you're managing the beneficiaries and adapting so that you don't give up all the tax consequences or give up all those tax savings, right, that you were using this tax shelter for. So manage those beneficiaries. All right, so those are 5 tips to help you as you're saving up for college. There's significantly more, and you've got to apply this to your individual financial circumstances, your specific financial plan. Work with your CFP to see where saving up for college fits in relation to all of your other financial goals, and then the right amount to save up, and whether it's a 529 plan or if it's a different account, a Roth IRA that you should be using to save up into for college, with the exact investment strategy. I mean, all of these things, apply it to you personally, working with your certified financial planner. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com, that's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com, you can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.